It's been a while since I've done an episode. It's been a few days. The 22nd was the last time I did one. It's now the 27th. Like most things, I start strong, start excited, and then kind of lose steam and just let it fall to the wayside. I don't even know if I'm going to end up doing it tonight. I certainly don't feel like talking by myself. So I'm going to give my good friend Jeff a call and see if maybe he'll chat. Goddamn new fucking cover on this cell phone. I can't figure out how to unlock it. There we go. Alright. Now we're cooking with grease. This is Mind Meandering, episode 5. I don't know what the title is yet. Tentative working title for right now until we, 1, figure out if Jeff is going to do this, and 2, figure out what we talk about. God damn, my mouth is dry. We'll figure out a title then. I'm not even sure if it's episode 5. It's been so long. Alright, dial in Jeff Soto. Speaker.
I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. Bye.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey man, it's David. It's your friend. I'm recording right now. This is on speakerphone. I was hoping to do an episode with you about sustainability, not worldwide or even local, and within our own country. Sustainability. I'm just talking about like personal sustainability. And try to dive into a discussion about that, but now here I am just talking to your voicemail. I did this whole intro and everything, and then you didn't answer, and I'm not sure what to do now. I really wish you would have beeped in while I was leaving this voicemail. Sometimes you usually call back in a few seconds, and that would have been really super cool if, like, during the live recording, as I was talking about hoping I got to talk to you, you beeped in, and it would have been even cooler now if you did it as I was actually talking about you beeping in. And here I am, milking time as much as possible, hoping that you will beep in. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I forgot it's a Friday night, and you're a cool guy now. You do cool things. That sounds...
If you are satisfied with your message, press 1 to listen to your message. Press 2 to erase and re-record. Press 3 to continue recording where you left off.
Okay.
Press 4.
Yeah.
You have pressed an incorrect key. To send your message with normal delivery, press 1. To send your message with urgent delivery, press 2.
I'd like to continue recording. I left it off on a really dickish note.
Are you still there? To send your message with normal delivery, press 1. To send your message with urgent delivery, press 2.
Well, just send it regularly.
Thank you. Your message has been sent. Goodbye.
Weird. Damn it. Alright. Well, okay. So, sustainability. Like I said in the voicemail, that I didn't mean to send, sustainability, I don't want to talk about the sustainability of the world. I don't know enough about, there's so much information. Anybody can Google something online and find what fits their narrative and claim to be an expert and prove whatever point they went into the argument wanting to make. I don't know what the fucking expert is anymore. I feel like everybody is just has an opinion, and some opinions are more glorified than others. But I certainly do not know much about much. I have hunches, I have feelings. I like to think I have a good head on my shoulders, and if I were to do something with that head, I could potentially do great things, but I have not, so I do not know enough to comment on the sustainability of the world or our society locally in the United States. But I would like to talk about my sustainability, how I feel regarding my own personal sustainability. I've pretty much felt this way since the very moment that I had to start paying bills. Which was probably about the age of 16, 17. Had a car payment, insurance payment. And then once I moved out and became responsible for life, roof over the head, lights staying on, a car to drive, insurance to drive that car, food, all these reoccurring things that pretty much keep you from being able to take time off. And it's that in itself, the principle of it has never really sat right with me. I feel like it's and goddamn this new way of living where you can't say the S word as a white person, or at least I feel like I can't, but it feels like a form of slavery, because you don't, in my case, you don't have the choice. You have to work if you want to live. The wages that you're getting paid are there's nothing that can be spent, really. It pays for the roof over your head. it pays for the car that is necessary in the culture that we live in most parts, to survive productively. It pays for the food. It pays to keep the lights on. And you have to continually keep up with it every single week, every day, every hour. Every month, they come around again. And I would love a discussion on this. Please chime in the comments. Am I the only one out there that's living paycheck to paycheck? Am I the only one out there that if I lost my job tomorrow, I would have exactly 1 week to find a job before I started losing shit? Probably first the car, and then an eviction notice. The insurance would lapse. The license would get suspended. My license has been suspended 3 times in the past 5-7 years, and it has never been because of some, dangerous infraction of any kind. My license has been suspended because I didn't have enough money. Do you understand that? That's... I couldn't pay for my insurance. I didn't drive the car. I worked from home. I kept the car parked during that time. But, when the horse is down, just kick it harder, I guess, because then you can't pay for your insurance? Well, now we're going to suspend your license. In order to get your license back, you have to pay that reinstatement fee. And because you didn't have insurance, and your license was suspended, that's going to be a higher rate on your new insurance. It feels like I don't want to sound like I'm passing the responsibility on and saying that I make all the best choices. But I work 40 hours a week and I make decent money. And I just feel like when you put that kind of time in, and I do things extracurricular, I'm not even going to try that word right now with this dry mouth. I do other things too that bring in money, but yet I still cannot fall asleep at night. Every night my fists are clenched, my teeth are grinding, and I'm just doing circular math problems in my head of how I could make 10 cents out of 5. And it shouldn't be that way. And I know a lot of people that work their asses off and struggle. I know a lot of people that work their asses off their whole life, and they don't know what the hell they're going to do, and they don't have the physical means to continue working because the monetary means aren't there for them to retire on. And so I struggle with that. That's one of my main struggles. That's one of my, when I feel a panic attack coming, when I feel the most anxious, the thought is, oh my fucking God, I have to keep this up for till the day I die. And sometimes, most of the time, I don't feel like I can. There is such a large part of me, and now especially with a daughter with a mouth, that I'm responsible to put food in, and not just responsible, but with somebody that I fucking love more than anything in this world, that I want to give the world to, that I want to provide every opportunity to. And I know that, you know, there's rags to riches stories, but you know them because they are a dime a fucking dozen. They don't happen to everybody. They don't happen to most. They haven't happened to anybody that I know. And I've always learned, not practiced for the most part, to hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And I want to give that little girl the world, but I can barely keep a roof over our heads. I could barely keep the cupboards full. And that's with me doing everything that I can. If I just keep that up, we'll make it barely. If I slip for a second, it's back to square one. And I've been back to square one so many times where you have to start over. You sell your stuff, you lose the things that you had leases or loans on back at home with the parents, and you have to start over. And I have found no peace of mind in either shoes. I have nothing, and I worry that, it just, what is the, it's just, you feel like a failure in this society when you are stripped down to that level, so you deal with that stress. But right now I'm in a position where I've built up, more than I ever have in my life, as far as, not having to sell shit, and a fully furnished house, and the car in the driveway, and knock on wood, and we have all this, but we don't really have it, and there's still no peace of mind, because it goes from feeling like a piece of shit because you have nothing, to worrying because it could all go away in a blink of an eye, literally a blink of an eye, one slip. If something happens with my job tomorrow, we're out of a house by the 1st. Health insurance, all that shit, it's just, am I the only one that feels like I'm living right on the fringe? And I don't want to sound insensitive. I know that there are people that are sleeping on the streets. I know there are people that have it far, far worse. I understand that. But I'm talking about my personal situation. I know that there are people out there that work their asses off, work 2 jobs, never come home, that are, dad died and they're supporting mom and their siblings and trying to put themselves through college. And that's another thing that I want to talk about, is that I don't know how I see a certain drive in people. And I see a certain instinct in people to make not the decision that they want to, that feels good, but the self-control to do what needs to be done. And don't get me wrong, I go to work for 40 hours a week, and I try really hard to make sure the bills are paid. But I have terrible, terrible impulse control. I try not to think too much about the future because it goes back to that, what future? What guaranteed future do I have to actually take my very short time and waste planning for? What future is that? So I don't really plan for the future. I just live in the now and I hope for the best tomorrow. And I'm very impulsive, and it gets me into a lot of trouble. I think let's just have a good time tonight, and I will figure out a way to fix it tomorrow. And that's kind of been my life. So always fixing tomorrow. But again, I think that goes back to that. It just boils down to it's like the same reason why I smoke cigarettes. The struggle that I have with quitting is I enjoy smoking cigarettes for the most part. Like right now I'm having one. It's my third one that I've had since I started this recording, and I'm really enjoying it, aside from the fact that my mouth is really fucking dry. I enjoy smoking cigarettes. I know that they're bad for me. But my rationalization the easiest rationalization for me to jump to with not quitting is that I could quit today and get hit by a car or shot or stabbed or whatever tomorrow. I've heard of so many people quitting and finding out they have cancer 2 years later and dying, or, not so many people, but there's stories like that, So it's kind of the same thing with money is, okay, so yeah, we want to have this good time tonight, and I know this $50 is coming out of the rent payment, but we could lose the house next month anyways, by things that are outside of our control. So why not fucking treat ourselves in this and provide some kind of self-reward in this just thankless life of working and paying bills and working and paying bills. And so, and I don't want to just complain, I don't want to just get on here and bitch. I have here's the silver lining. I have a fantastic job. I work for fantastic people. If I'm going to be in the system of mostly work to live until we live to work, to quote Vampire Weekend, if I'm going to be locked within that system, I couldn't have asked for a better place to be employed. So there is that. I get to work from home. So there's that. That has its cons and its pros, but it's, I don't have to use gas to go where I'm going. I get to be semi-present, at least physically, for, all the time for my daughter. So I don't have it all that bad, but I'm just saying that there's the one thing, the sustainability. Even as good as I have it right now, I lay in bed at night and think how easily it can all go away. It has before. There's no peace of mind, even in the good times, even less in the good times. I can't worry about losing $50 that I don't have. So that's my question is, does anybody else feel overwhelmed by the constantly reoccurring responsibility of sustaining yours and your family's existence? Is that an overwhelming feeling to you? Do you ever think about it on from a way up grand down to a micro level of what that actually entails? And have you done the math on the time that you spend working and the time that you have free and the money that you actually get to take away and do something with? It's just not sustaining your life, something that actually gets to give you some kind of enjoyment. Do you remember the Sims game? You had these things that you had to do. You had to give them a house. You had to give them food. You had to give them a place to rest. You had to give them a place to shit and a place to clean themselves. But the other thing that was necessary was you had to give them interaction and entertainment. It was something. They had to have a hobby or an art or a craft or a bowling league or a friend that they played with or something, some kind of entertainment or interaction. And I swear to God, with the cost of living and how imbalanced the cost of the wage increase has been alongside the inflation of the cost of living, it's fucking impossible. You're trading time for money. So you either have one or the other. But what does one do without the other? It just doesn't seem sustainable.